Hey everybody, Truth Dog here, internet's favorite dog, back at it with another crazy video. Doing something a little different right now. I'm doing a normal video. I know that I said I wouldn't do this stuff, but I'm just interested to see if the low views on my channel are because of my songs, or just because, like, you know, my channel's dead and people don't care about anything I have to say. So, completely against my will, you can't see just out of frame, there's a man in black with a gun to my head making me do this, but it will be interesting, like I said, to see if this gets any views versus the other stuff. If this doesn't get any views, then I'm never doing another video like this again, although I say shit like that all the time. But yeah, we're both interested, I suppose, mutual interest. Yes, I'll get you the adrenochrome, don't worry. You can edit that out, right? He said he would, and then he winked at me. I don't know what that means. So anyway, let's get straight into it. Organic portals and reptilians. This is like sort of an update, overall view, so that you don't need to watch any of my other videos, all my successful videos. You just come and watch this one, and you'll learn everything you need to know, or at least everything that I believe. You know, you can't spell believe without lie, etc., and all that. So let's get, like, once again, let's get straight into it. So organic portals and reptilians. So in the past, I made the distinction that organic portals were basically, you know, like empty seeders, NPCs. If you buy into the whole simulation theory of this world or universe or whatever the heck it is, which I do, then, you know, the idea of an NPC, it's the same as like a video game, like a Grand Theft Auto, or any video game really, where you can interact with non-control players. Non-player characters is what NPC stands for. That's really how I see organic portals, that they're essentially like you're in the video game. If you have your own perspective, you have your own thoughts, and you have it feels like you have some kind of purpose or destiny, you know, you have an internal dialogue, all that sort of stuff. That means that you're a real person, because I've made videos on this in the past, but for those who haven't seen them, essentially organic portals don't think. At least that's how it seems. And because tests and surveys have shown recently, in the past 5 to 10 years, that only 70% or less people actually think. And I'm not talking about, well, think critically, we'll say, because, you know, they have thoughts which are really just programming, which is essentially the purpose of media and entertainment. It has many purposes, but one purpose it serves is to program. That's why they call it television programming and whatnot, because the idea is that for the majority of people who don't really have personalities, because they don't have their own minds, they get their personalities, they get their opinions from, you know, TV shows they watch, movies they watch, celebrities, you know, opinions and all that sort of stuff. You know, these are like the social justice warrior types. So, you know, the type of people who, like, read the paper, like, you know, back when the paper existed, the type of people who watch the news, which becomes kind of more of a mindset as people grow older, which could be for many different reasons. But essentially, you know, these organic portals are NPCs. They're, you know, empty-headed, and their personality is, I believe, informed to a degree by their DNA. So their parents, you know, everybody, at the time that you're born, I do believe in astrology, the time you're born, your genetics, social factors, all these sort of inform everybody's personality and outlook to an extent, even the organic portals. But at the end of the day, they are sort of the product of their programming, more so than anything. I've said in the past, it's like, you know, crappy shows like The Big Bang Theory or 2.5 Men, like these really popular shows. They're really popular because most people are stupid. You know, like that saying, you'll never go broke, appealing to the lowest common denominator. That's kind of where that comes from. That, like I said, the majority of people have no brain, essentially. And so these stupid shows become the most popular, and these stupid shows inform these empty people of their personality. So, like, depending on all those default factors that I mentioned, like, say, you know, they're a little overweight, their parents fed them the wrong food, you know, they're not, you know, super popular, they'd watch something like 2.5 Men, and they'd identify with the fat kid. And so you'd see them sort of like what is it? Not mimicking, but I forget the word, but essentially taking on the traits and persona of the fat kid on Two and a Half Men. I never watched this shit. I mean, I've seen it, but I never watched it. I don't think I watched a full episode because I haven't committed suicide yet. Oh wait, that's one of like the 50 words you can't say anymore. Oh, whoops. We'll edit that out, right, FBI agent? Yeah, he's winking again. I think that means yes in his species. Okay, so so they'll watch that. Or say like, you're I don't know, fairly fit, like a handsome kind of character, a real ladies' man, but you're an organic portal. You'll watch Two and a Half Men and you'll identify with Charlie. Or say, like you're I don't know, like a weedy kind of average sort of dude. You'd identify with the other guy. And so on, and a lot of people these days, like, go to the Big Bang Theory. A lot of people these days, it's a lot like nerds used to be like, I don't know, in the minority, but it wasn't so much like cool to be nerdy. Like in the 80s when they started introducing nerd culture, like Revenge of the Nerds and that sort of stuff. It wasn't very normal, but as as they do this to like little babies and stuff, it seems that more people are a little bit more on the spectrum. I don't know what the correlation is there. Who can tell, right? So like shows that like really lean into the autism kind of personas, like Big Bang Theory. That's like why that's popular, because more and more people are afflicted with autism or whatever it is. Not that, so like they'll watch that and they'll identify again with whoever they're closest to, and that's why you can sort of tell by looking at someone. But I've also said you can tell in every single way. If your senses are sharp, there's a tip at every sense. So like you can see someone who is fake. You can the way they move, you can tell that they're fake. They don't flow. They don't flow. They don't have like this charisma where you're all of a sudden like, whoa, who's that? You know what I mean? They just blend in because they are background characters. That's the idea of them. I think like essentially the idea of organic portals is to what's the word? It helps sell the idea that there's 7 billion people in the world, even though it feels completely lonely for most real people, I would say. I think that's like one of the common the things real people have in common is that they're pretty lonely. Even if they do have company, friends, significant others or whatever, the like common denominator seems to be that they're lonely, because it's like there's 7 billion people in the world, but how many of them can you talk to? You know what I mean? How many of them can you relate to? And so like, I think that the idea of like organic portals, I wouldn't be surprised if they literally didn't exist, and then any time that you like went into a new environment, say you got in the car and went down to the shops or the park or whatever it might be, that while you're there they just load these people in, and it's kind of like Dark City, where they just like give them memories, like they give them a backstory that they believe, it's just they're programmed in. And I think they can do that with traffic too, because traffic, like, not to sort of get ahead of myself, or like to confuse things, but the idea of loosh, for people who don't know, that's like etheric energy, like harvesting energy. I think you can harvest positive energy, like that's sort of like the idea of a band playing to a crowd, and there's that ping pong effect where the crowd's giving the band energy and the energy's giving it back, that sort of thing. I think that's kind of like loosh, but that's like an even trade. The idea, the way that this planet operates, I think, is that we're all essentially batteries, and we're harvested for our negative energy. That's why I believe that this world is at the very least purgatory, that everything here is upside down and worse than it should be at all times. And, bad decisions are made all the time, and people are just confused by like, why would they do that? These people must be stupid. But it's not really that they're stupid. I mean, they could be, but whoever's pulling their strings is doing it to make us unhappy. That's like, they know that people like to feel smart, especially smarter than they are. So a lot of the times they make decisions from the top that are deliberately stupid, that people just think, these clowns in office or whatever, like, get these clowns out. They don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. Or like I said, the emperor or whoever, the puppet master knows exactly what they're doing, because they're making these these dumb decisions for smart reasons that benefit them only. That's why most people couldn't wrap their heads around why, say, like all these decisions are made. It's a big thing in video games too. Like these developers must be brain dead. Like no, they're playing to their audience, which is mostly stupid people. So you play a video game, for instance. This is getting a little sidetracked, but like you play a video game like Call of Duty, for instance, which has gotten dumber and dumber. All games are getting dumbed down. It's because the majority of people are basically retarded, especially compared to a real person, and so they make a lot more money when these people don't get frustrated or tilted playing these games and losing. So basically all entertainment and everything really is getting dumbed down because there's more and more NPCs, and it's just a matter of making money. So because there's a correlation to money and loosh. The more money they make off NPCs, the more loosh they get from the real people who are pissed off at how stupid everything gets. So you understand how that works? Like, people don't really get that, the big picture, that everything's about money. It's about money and loosh at the exact same time. Like, even, say, like, the food you eat, which isn't really food. You shouldn't be eating, like, animal products or anything. All of that is literally satanic. It's animal sacrifice. They kill more... They kill more like animals a year than humans have ever existed. It's like they kill way more than they need to because it's more about the loosh, the suffering, and like they make lots of money off it too because they brainwash everybody into eating that sort of shit. I feel like I'm losing everybody. I feel like I'm losing myself. So I'll get back on topic. So NPCs essentially, even the FBI agent is like he's like. What is it? He's just like added a couple of rounds into the chamber. He's threatening. He cocked his gun. That's it. I should have been able to think of that word. Yeah. So organic portals. Essentially, we're in a video game. Organic portals aren't real. I don't even think that they're real. I don't think that they're real in any way. Like a lot of videos I see about NPCs, organic portals, what have you, talk about them like being real people who just like aren't spiritually awake. I don't believe that they're actually real. I don't believe that you should ever hurt them. I couldn't do it myself because it's just too. It seems real, and I do believe that you're judged for your actions here. And I don't believe that like a good person can really be bad on purpose. Like we won't get into it, but yeah, I don't really think that they're real. I believe that the simulation is so realistic that basically they seem completely real. And people have said, and I agree, that like basically when they're left to their own devices, these NPCs, that they're way stupider than they are when they talk to you. I don't know if people have noticed this, like especially on social media, like you'll see them saying the dumbest shit ever, or if you just sort of like see them out in public and they're with like another group of friends, and they act completely different and they act like way dumber than they are to you. I believe that this is because they sort of feed off your energetic field. Like they can kind of leech off your intelligence, almost like putting a plug into a socket. If they talk to a person with some sort of intelligence and insight, they can actually mimic the insight in real time. It's like this thing, as long as they're close enough to you and they've got your attention, they can kind of like mirror you, and it's not a conscious thing because they have no consciousness. They're just like an AI system, which is, what we're stuck in. They are the Matrix, but like that's a real mindfuck, and that's why like it's hard to really tell sometimes who is and isn't an organic portal, because they can literally be almost as smart as you are if you are engaging directly with them. That's one thing I've noticed. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you've ever met or talked to someone who was like, wow, they seem really like, spiritual or cool or whatever, and then you see them on social media or whatever and they're like retards, it's like, oh, okay, that's probably an organic portal. The other thing too is like, I've talked in the past about like, organic portals not necessarily being like that malicious or that dangerous, which I really believe. They can be a threat, but it's that idea like they show in the Matrix where they can be piloted by Mr. Smiths, because, there's lots of different, what do you call it, dimensions around us that we can't see. Like say a baby, a real person, when they're born, they can actually see into these dimensions and see these entities walking around, these reptilian Mr. Smiths, right? Cats can too, dogs and most animals, I think, can still see into these dimensions, but humans lose that ability after a certain age. It could be something to do with the television, or I don't know what it is, the light, who knows, but something happens that at a certain age you just completely, by the time you can talk, you forget everything that you knew from your last life, sort of thing. Yeah, so just like the idea of organic portals, I do believe that they can be piloted by negative entities, especially if their vibration is lower. Because even though I don't believe that they're real, the world is getting worse and worse, and like the products, the food we eat, the water we drink, fluoride, which you shouldn't do. Like, you should try to find some sort of like reverse osmosis thing. They have like these water machines that you can put in to remove the fluoride, because that sort of stuff, it's very bad for you. It like allegedly calcifies your pineal gland, which is your third eye, which is your spiritual sense, and yeah, it makes it a lot harder for you to think for yourself. So like, yeah, like just the idea that most people are drinking tap water, or Coca-Cola or energy drinks or any of that sort of shit, puts them at a low vibration. Meat and animal products, that's literal suffering, death, because they torture the animals before killing them. That's in their system. All the negative TV, which is just getting more violent, profane, and sexual, pedophilic even, all that stuff is, the news, the world's getting worse, COVID, obviously, all that shit, just worse and worse and worse. It's to make sure that even though like these organic portals aren't real, they still have like kind of like an energetic field, and to make sure that everyone's as low as possible, which increases the chances of them being able to pilot anybody, because even a real person can be piloted if they're doing the wrong thing. Drugs is another example. You do drugs, that's another way that they can sort of get to you, kind of ride along and sort of whisper in your ear and confuse you into thinking that their thoughts are your thoughts, kind of thing. But they can like literally like pilot an organic portal, get them to execute tasks to F with you. I also believe, I've talked about this in the past, that like the idea of gang stalking, that kind of stops once you reach a certain vibration and awareness. And mostly it's sort of like organic portals or literal reptilians, which are not human entities that are using some sort of technology to appear human. I don't think we'll get to that. I think that I've gotten enough material out of organic portals, but that's essentially it. Like, organic portals are like, in my opinion, fake people, NPCs. They don't know they're fake, and I don't actually think that they really exist. But they do serve a purpose here, which is essentially to monitor, to give the illusion that the world is, full of people, and full of assholes. That's another reason they exist. Full of idiots. The idea that all these idiots are around, it just like makes you angry and depressed. And that's the loosh thing I was talking about. And I do believe like organic portals can be used for evil, like with the Mr. Smithing and whatnot. And also there are other ways that people can be changed from like a real person with like, a good spirit, but I don't know if we'll get into those today. Managed to get a decent amount of material out of this. I guess I'll stop there. 20 minutes or less is enough. I say 20 minutes now because I'm probably going to talk for the next 2. So that's it, I think. Yeah, just organic portals. Very typical people, very typical voices. Just to like I said, the video game example, but like a movie, they're kind of like extras or background characters, you know what I mean? Like the people in the cafe scene where the 2 main characters are on a date, they're the people in the background, pretending to chat over coffee. That's what organic portals are, in my opinion. So there you go. That's a real video. Hope you like that one. It'll be interesting to see how many people watch this. And if you are watching this and don't watch my songs, can you go fucking watch my songs? I do all this shit for free. Seriously, I've never asked for anything. I don't monetize my videos or anything, probably because I'd get demonetized. But anyway, like if you don't watch my songs, go watch them, because if you like me at all, there's a lot of me in my songs. Okay, I don't know what else to say. So is that good enough, Mr. FBI agent or Man in Black or whatever the hell I called you? Yes, he says, okay, I can live for another day. That's fantastic. All right, well, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a hell of a lot. And I hope you have a good one. Truth Dog out. Woof, woof! What do you mean you're going to shoot me? I did the video. Oh, right, yeah. You wanted a good one. Okay. I'm okay.